Yaffee program on WVNN.
All right, so apparently President Trump isn't happy with Ted Cruz today and Mike Pompeo because, well, the Iran nuke deal, which I guess is in the works, but not in the works, might be happening, but not happening, which we've been hearing for weeks now. Trump said, final aspects and the details of the deal are currently being discussed and will be announced shortly. I'll give you the details and what might be in it. But Trump, jeez. Oh my gosh. Someone responded to Ted Cruz and said, "Cool, Ted, no one asked you, bro." Okay, actually someone did. That's why he gave that answer about his concern. So Ted Cruz is a little bit concerned about what could come of this Iran nuke deal, as maybe he should be concerned. And someone said, "Cool, no one asked you, bro." That was their response. But someone did ask him because he's a U.S. senator and obviously is involved in these things. Anyway, I want to know where you are on this. Are you concerned like Ted Cruz is? Are you optimistic like Marco Rubio is? Or are you just completely against all of this like the Democrats? And we can add Thomas Massey in there as well. All right, we'll talk about the latest on all of this because I'm with Ted Cruz. Honestly, I'm concerned. You've heard me say for weeks, we need to do more here because we can talk about how long this Iran war has been going on, but it actually hasn't been going on. That's the problem. We're in this weird quasi-ceasefire, and that's taken up more time than the war itself. So if we would have just finished the job earlier, maybe we would be done and we could get back to lowering gas prices and opening up the strait. But we have just delayed all of this. I understand why. I get it. No one likes war. But it at some point, war becomes necessary. And if you're going to make the decision to go to war, make the decision to finish the job as quickly as possible so it can be done, which is, yes, bad for a lot of people in the short term, but better for the world in the long term. You are listening to the Yaffee program. This is the show where you can count on the latest news, the important guests, and the best analysis, all for your morning commute, here on News Talk 770 AM, 92.5 FM, WVNN. Also coming up on the show today, yes, the Alabama bullet points. There's a new poll out. I'll give you the details in the bullet points, but a new poll out that possibly shows Jared Hudson in the lead for the Senate runoff. I find that very difficult to believe, I have to admit, but anything's possible. I mean, no one expected Jared Hudson to make it to the runoff, so anything's possible. We'll talk about that. At the bottom of the hour, we have to talk about how basically everyone is wrong again. This is one of those issues when you're talking about this so-called weaponization fund. It's one of those issues where all sides just took it too far, which I guess is a trend now. So we'll discuss that. There were some great speakers in the Trump administration and also some great ceremonies over the weekend when it comes to Memorial Day. So we'll discuss that. In the next hour, we'll speak with E.J. Antoni. He is an economist with the Heritage Foundation. We speak with an expert with the Heritage Foundation every Tuesday, so he's going to join us. I always end the show with the Yaffee program Rewind. We always take your text messages on the Yaffee text line, 866-494-9866. I mean, I'm like Trump at this point. I just brand everything the Yaffee X. So the Yaffee text line, the Yaffee phone line, the Yaffee program Rewind. I'm just turning into Trump, I guess. Bugsy is here as well. She's producing and going to do What's Trending later on. Bugsy, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Yaffee. I had a great weekend learning about lobsters.
Go on. Go. I have to know. Was it a TV show?
No, I became strangely addicted to watching this one guy on YouTube Shorts. Apparently, he's famous on TikTok for this, but all he does is catch lobsters in Maine. But it was so interesting. I learned so much. I learned that they throw back all the females with eggs, and they cut a notch in their tail to signal. Like they're legally required to do this, and they do that. So and once they do that, you can't catch that lobster and keep it.
Interesting.
It's to
because
protect
it's a female with eggs.
Yeah, it's to protect the the breeding population.
Well,
so there's
I mean,
more
that's
lobsters
smart.
for the future. I know, right? And then they also have to like fit within a certain guideline. If they're too big, they're safe too, because those are like the best lobsters.
So that makes them safe?
Yes, because the larger they are, the more integral they are to the breeding population. Typically.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you think you would want the best lobster to eat, but they want the best of the best to breed.
Yeah,
That's what you're saying.
So that they have more awesome lobsters in the future.
Wow. That actually is very interesting, Bugsy.
Right. And then they also like cut off, like they pull off the barnacles, and it's kind of satisfying too. Whenever they catch one that they release, so they give them like a little snack too. They put it in their claw. It's really cute. Snack for the road.
You're going to get a pet lobster after this.
I've thought about it before. I really want a crab though, honestly.
Yeah, crab would be more fun.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, there you go. How we protect. You know, I've heard of you kind of cut off the edge of an ear of a cat after you've,
After
a stray cat after you've neutered them, or whatever. So this is like that, but with lobsters.
Yeah. Except for they're not neutered.
Except the opposite. Yeah, they're the opposite.
Yeah, we're neutering lobsters and throwing them back.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. All right, if anyone wants to weigh in on that, I mean, you can. I guess 866-494-9866, 866-494-WVNN. All right, let me give you the latest here on Iran. Trump posted this on Truth Social. So one of the worst deals ever made by our country was the Iran nuclear deal put forth and signed into existence by Barack Hussein Obama and the rank amateurs of the Obama administration. That's what Trump said on Truth Social. He said it was a direct path to Iran developing a nuclear weapon. Not so with the transaction currently being negotiated with Iran by the Trump administration. The exact opposite, in fact. Now, he also said the negotiations are proceeding in an orderly and constructive manner, and I have informed my representatives not to rush into a deal, and that time is on our side. The blockade will remain in full force and effect until an agreement is reached, certified, and signed. Both sides must take their time and get it right. There can be no mistakes. So this is what we've heard for a while. A deal could be in the works. Got to take our time. Blockade in effect. Strait of Hormuz. Now, we also have this from CBS News, where apparently, well, actually, there's a lot going on here, but apparently there were strikes over the weekend against Iran, but the U.S. are calling defensive strikes over mining operations that they were doing in the Strait of Hormuz. And then Iran responded and complained about that, saying it was like a violation of the ceasefire. Where all of this could go, who knows at this point? I'd rather just break the ceasefire, bomb them. Still, Trump has not called it the Strait of Trump. If we can rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, we can rename the Strait of Hormuz to the Strait of Trump. I don't know why this hasn't happened yet. Anyway, Marco Rubio spoke about this over the weekend. It started on Sunday, and then he spoke about it again yesterday. Play Marco Rubio cut 1 for me, Bugsy.
The goal here ultimately, the ultimate goal is that Iran can never have a nuclear weapon. Iran can never possess a nuclear weapon. The president has been clear about that. They will never possess a nuclear weapon, certainly not as long as Donald Trump is president of the United States. I believe, maybe more news coming out a little bit later today on this topic, and I'll leave it to the president to make further announcements on it. Suffice it to say that some progress has been made, significant progress, although not final progress has been made.
Okay, and that was Rubio. He was in India on Sunday. And then yesterday he spoke about what the deal could look like, and he said kind of what I've been saying here. It's going to take some time. Play Rubio cut 2.
It takes a little while to hear back. So we have what I think is a pretty solid thing on the table in terms of their ability to open up the straits, get the straits open. This issue, no one has done more, and no one has been more serious about the threat of a nuclear Iran than President Trump has been. And so I'm very confident, and we should all be very confident, that we're either going to have a good agreement or we're going to have to deal with it another way. We'd prefer to have a good agreement.
Okay, there you go. I mean, we would all prefer to have a good agreement. Well, except Iran, I guess. Never mind. Not all of us. All of us in the U.S. maybe would prefer to have a good agreement. I don't think Iran prefers that. Apparently, Iran just would prefer to trick us, to lie to us, to try to scam us over and over and over again. Now, more from Trump on Truth Social. He said the enriched uranium, nuclear dust, will be immediately turned over to the United States to be brought home and destroyed, or preferably in conjunction and coordination with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Destroyed in place or at another acceptable location with the Atomic Energy Commission or its equivalent being witness to this process and event. So Trump is saying that part of this would be they would destroy their nuclear material. Now, I had mentioned earlier that Ted Cruz kind of concerned about this, senator from Texas. Here's what he said over the weekend. Play Ted Cruz cut for me.
If the result of all of this is to be an Iranian regime still run by Islamists who chant death to America, now receiving billions of dollars, being able to enrich uranium and develop nuclear weapons, and having effective control over the Strait of Hormuz, that outcome would be a disastrous mistake.
I mean, he's right. I don't know why there would be any back and forth between Trump and Ted Cruz over this, because obviously Ted Cruz is correct. I guess Trump is saying that wouldn't happen. Now, you do have the Thomas Masseys of the world, this congressman who's about to be out of office in Kentucky, who is basically a libertarian, has opposed this from the beginning. He thinks this deal could be possibly good news, which shows that maybe it could be a bad deal, in my opinion. But go ahead and play the Thomas Massey cut.
Well, I was the author of the first War Powers resolution to get us out of Iran. My constituents are hurting. Gas is almost $5 a gallon. Diesel's almost $6 a gallon. And the farmers here in Kentucky can't afford the fertilizer to put on their field. So, heck yes, I would support it. We don't know what the terms of it are. But if Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz are crashing out last night, I'd say it's probably a pretty good deal.
So he's saying maybe it's a good deal, which tells me maybe it's not a good deal. One of you texting in, this is a really good text, so I wanted to read this. You can weigh in on the text line 866-494-9866. Texter here says, I think not being able to set in on the negotiations, it's really hard to know what is actually going on. The Iranians say nothing is happening, and Trump is always saying close. Well, close is good in horseshoes and hand grenades. I'm thinking we need to throw a few, get this over with. That's where I've been for weeks, and I think more people are joining me. Either we're going to finish the job here and let's just do it, or just forget it, I guess, and leave, which would be going back to the way things were, which is what Ted Cruz is concerned about, rightfully so. If you want to weigh in, like that texter, you can, 866-494-9866. Moving on to other news, we got the Alabama Bullet Points. Coming up next, you're listening to the Yaffee program.
You're listening to Yaffee on WVNN.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
The Hammer Alley Podcast, an 80s flashback mockumentary.
Modestly speaking, in 1987, we knew Hammer Alley was better than Def Leppard, White Lion, Glass Tiger, John Cougar, and other artists named after Wildcats.
How did they go from top of the rock to rock bottom?
That band that won Battle of the Bands, Hammer Alley, is as current as a bowling alley. Have you been in one of those lately?
Hammer Alley.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
The Hammer Alley Podcast, an 80s flashback mockumentary.
Back in the 80s, there were 1,000 bands trying to make it in the world of rock, but there was one band that had it all, Hammer Alley.
Whatever happened to Hammer Alley?
How did they go from top of the rock?
I'm looking for a music video. They're a band from 1987, Hammer Alley. Ever heard of them?
To rock bottom.
Dude, I was born in 1987.
Oh.
I can't believe he's doing this.
Hammer Alley.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.